It's easy to feel a bit disheartened if you scroll through news stories about nature. There always seems to be another habitat being destroyed, a rare animal being shot, or some knobhead slapping around a poor defenceless beaver somewhere. But up in this tree behind me, there's some good news for a change. At Netbury Wilding Estate in West Sussex, giant white storks have been successfully reintroduced. In this video, I'll be telling you all about them, to hopefully put a smile back on yours and the poor beavers' faces. It was a gorgeous sunny day that me and my mum went to Nep on, and it wasn't long before we started to spot some cool creatures as we began our search for storks. By the way, I'm finding every animal in the UK. I'm up to 177 out of 378 so far, and I've got pretty familiar with a lot of our more common species. So when I heard a bird call that I didn't recognise, oh boy did I get excited.
So that bird up there with the crazy sound is a common nightingale. So cool, I don't think I've ever heard one before. But this would be a new species, so I'm hoping he comes out of this hedge and we can get a little shot.
Unfortunately, this little chappie didn't fancy being filmed, so I guess that will have to be a new species for another day. So what's the deal with this place anyway, I hear you ask? According to Nep's own website, their mission is this. Apart from the restoration of natural water systems and managing our grazing animals, Nep is essentially about letting go, allowing nature to take over. Basically, they're just letting nature take its own course. For the most part anyway. In specific cases, such as with white storks, a helping hand is needed in order to get these birds to return, as I'll explain later.
This is really cool. They have several of these awesome tree viewpoints here, but that's a beautiful little structure. I would love to have one of these myself one day. Super nice. Wow. Right, where are these storks?
All of a sudden, light turned to dark, as a colossal shadow passed over our heads. As we looked up, we saw our first white stork. These birds are truly a sight to behold, standing up to just shy of 4 feet tall and boasting a 7.5 foot wingspan. I've only ever seen one larger bird in the UK, white-tailed eagles, and I'll leave a link to that video at the end of this one. But I only saw those from a distance, so to have a bird of this size soaring right over my head was an incredible experience. But I still wanted to find one of their even bigger nests, to hopefully see the next generation of these spectacular animals, so the search continues. After a couple of hours of trying and failing to find a stork nest, we finally spotted one. I spend a lot of time out in nature and have seen hundreds, if not thousands of bird nests, but white storks certainly know how to throw an impressive pile of sticks together. If they weren't sitting in it, you'd be forgiven for thinking someone was planning a bonfire at the top of a tree. These things are monstrous. It was absolutely incredible to see these funny looking chicks, but I also went back several weeks later to see how they were getting on, and I managed to get some way better footage on that visit.
I absolutely love all birds, but it is really nice to film a nice massive bird like this. Most of our birds in this country are about that big, to be fair, aren't they? But to spend a bit of time filming a behemoth like this is so nice. I can be like really far away like this and still get some really nice shots of them, which makes a nice change. I was just talking to a nice lady and she told me there's a spot over here somewhere where I should be able to get significantly closer to a stork nest. So I'm heading that way now and hopefully get some even crispier footage of these guys. So you can see two flying over there in the sky. Got two nests up in this tree where some of the chicks look like they're doing a little bit of flying practice, getting used to using their wings. And then there's another nest up in that tree that I'm about to go check out. Can't bloody move for storks. Yeah, from the looks of it, I think this is the one that looks like it's doing a bit of flight training. I imagine they haven't had their first proper flights yet. And look at him giving it a go. Not quite ready, probably. That's a pretty crowded nest. I know it's big, but squeezing four of them in there is a bit of a challenge. I honestly love this stuff so much. I mean, I know most people love animals, but hey, animals butter my crumpets on both sides, if you know what I mean. What a day. This is just a nice bit of ASMR for you, or ASMR as it's supposed to be pronounced. Wow, I didn't know they did that. That was amazing to catch on camera. Yes! Ugh, oh God, what's it eating?
This noise is known as bill clattering. Unlike many other birds, they don't have a voice box, so they use this sound instead for several reasons, including for greetings, bonding, and as a warning signal. And for parties. And if you listen really closely to the clattering, you can just about make out, remember to like and subscribe. Now I'll use the rest of the crispy footage I collected to give you a brief history of Britain's white storks. Prior to the white stork's reintroduction in the UK, fossil records have shown us that they were soaring around our island all the way back in Roman times. Fast forward to 1416, that's when the last breeding pair was recorded, on the roof of St Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. Their disappearance was a sadly familiar tale. In medieval times, large birds like this made frequent appearances on banquet tables, as they paired well with a lovely glass of red, I presume. Their wetland habitats were also largely destroyed, mainly due to draining to make way for agriculture. This, combined with the felling of vast numbers of large oak trees, the kind capable of supporting their massive 2-metre wide half-ton nests, had a catastrophic impact on their ability to survive and breed here. But in 2016, the White Stork project was launched, and 20 non-flying Polish rescue birds were brought over to form what's known as an anchor colony. These birds have a very strong tendency to return to where they were born in order to breed themselves. So the initial 20 birds had to be kept in captivity until they had chicks that would then treat the UK as their home. Also, white storks nest in large colonies and won't settle unless they see other storks doing the same. So these birds basically acted as living billboards, suggesting to juveniles returning from migration as well as passing migrants that the UK was a suitable place to hook up and pop out some eggs. In 2019, white storks made their first nest in just over 600 years in an oak tree at Knepp. Unfortunately, those eggs failed to hatch, but the following year, 4 chicks fledged from 3 separate nests. That number has increased year on year, and in 2024, 53 chicks from Knepp, along with 4 from Wadehurst, successfully fledged, which should hopefully secure the future of these magnificent birds across the UK, just as long as the wealthy don't go back to having them with Yorkshire puddings on Sundays. As promised, here's a link to my smashing eagle video, or you can see every animal I found so far in the playlist. See you in the next one.